Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
Good morning. I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm here in the studio with Jessica Rapp-Cressetti, Chair of the Barnstable Town Council, Lynn Poyant, Director of Community Services for the Town of Barnstable, and Nancy Shoemaker, a member of the Barnstable Historical Commission. We're here to talk about Barnstable's 375th anniversary this year. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Each of you brings a lot of knowledge and expertise to the committee for this Barnstable's 375th anniversary. So let's start with that. Jessica, you're chair of the Barnstable Town Council, but you are also a former chair of the Barnstable Historical Commission and someone interested in the town's history. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with the town's history over the years.
Well, I'm born and raised in Cotuit and very involved in the Historical Society in Cotuit and past president of the Historical Society and co-author of Images of America's book on Cotuit and a lifelong lover of history. And I have my fellow friend here, Nancy Shoemaker, to thank for being involved in the Historical Commission with the town of Barnstable and served for close to 10 years on that before I stepped down to serve on the town council. And now I'm president of the town council.
Great. And Nancy, you wear many hats besides being a member of the Historical Commission. You're a resident of West Barnstable, I believe, and have been involved in recording the town's history over the years. And for this special occasion, you've even written a book. So tell us about that.
I'd be happy to. The book is called Barnstable at 375, and it's a 64-page book, full color. We wanted to make a book that had a coffee table book appeal, but also was something that you might stick in your car and refer to every once in a while. It's kind of it's a picture book and a reference book. We have chapters divided up into villages. Each one is 7 pages, and each one also has a walking tour and description of the buildings that you'll see on your walking tour.
And this is one of several books you've done. Tell us about your other books and the research you've done over the years with the town's history.
I think of myself as more of a printer and graphic designer than history author, but the first book I did for the town of Barnstable was with Marion Volomir and Fred Bodenseek. And that was 25 years ago, and we named that book rather aptly Barnstable at 350. Had to think for a minute. Other books, I publish books for people and also help them edit and research those. I must say, we are working on one book right now that has to be out by July 25th, so it will, and it's called West Barnstable Remembered. And it's being put out by the West Barnstable Historical Society, and it's going to be a lush presentation of beautiful images of West Barnstable, and we have plenty of them, really wonderful pictures, cows to brick factories, and also has some wonderful people adding their text to it, like Helmi Valasis. She's going to kill me because I never pronounce her name right. But she's been featured in newspapers with her reflections of growing up in West Barnstable.
And so deeply involved in the town's history and researching it. And how did you first get involved with researching the town's history?
It was with that first book, Barnstable at 350. Marion Volomir became a dear friend of mine, asked me to work on that book with her, and I was recommended to her by Elna Nelson, who had been my 8th grade English teacher in Harwich many, many years ago.
So a long-time historian for the town of Barnstable. And Lynn, you've really put together this committee, I think, and of course, lifelong resident of the town of Barnstable and very involved in things at Town Hall, and then sort of spearheading this committee. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, I'm not a lifelong resident, and I just want to get that out there because people get upset when they. My dear friend Ruth Rusher, used to call me a wash ashore, and I am. We moved here in 1972, but I am a Barnstable High School graduate, and after graduating from college, I did decide to come back and work here. So I do have a love of the town and everything else. But Jessica is actually the chair of the committee, and we quite a while ago, Linda Hutchenrider, our former town clerk, had sent information and said, hey, Barnstable's going to be celebrating its 375th in a number of years. You need to get your act together. I'll be retired, and, you need to get a committee in place. And so I went to the town manager, Tom Lynch, and said, Tom, we have this momentous occasion coming up. We need to have a committee. It's not supposed to be chaired by staff. It really needs to be chaired by someone else. And Jessica at the time was the vice president of the town council, and with her association with the Historic Commission, we said, wow, wouldn't she be great to be the chair of the committee? So she did take on the chair of the committee, and then she became president of the town council. So she just has a little bit of work on her plate. But, we had interest. We received a number of emails from people saying that when this committee gets going, we really want to participate, and we wanted to make sure that there were people from all 7 villages, and people from all 7 villages have stepped up, which is really a wonderful thing.
Who are some of the other members of this committee?
Well, we've got representation from Centerville, Meg Loughran there, and Bob Frazee from Marston's Mills, and Duncan Gibson from Barnstable. Actually, he's put together a bibliography in our book, and Jennifer Williams from Osterville. And, of course, Ralph Crow from Hyannis, who will be spearheading our Founders Day picnic on September 21st. And Jim Gould from Cotuit, as well as, Deborah Baker, and the list goes on and on.
A lot of well-known residents of the town and people who are very involved in town affairs in all
Absolutely.
different kinds of ways.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, one of the things that we've done very smartly, I think, is that we've involved the libraries. And so all the library directors, Lucy Loomis from Sturgis and Barnstable, Jenny Wiley from Cotuit, mm-hmm. Beth Butler, who's also had Pat Stacy from the Centerville Library, Carol Saunders from the Hyannis Library. We've had a change of guard over at Marston's Mills. Renee's just recently retired, but Stacy will be getting involved as well. So we've had a number of those library participants fully at the table.
Yeah.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. We're talking about the town of Barnstable's 375th anniversary this year. Let's get right into talking about the different events. I think you folks had a kickoff not too long ago, and tell me about that.
Well, let's start back over a year ago when we put out a call for logo submission for the Barnstable 375, and we got so many entries, and we posted them online. We developed a website, so that's one of our biggest changes in the last 25 years, to have the internet and all that brings. So people voted on the logo, and our logo is representative of all the 7 villages in the town of Barnstable, which I think is wonderful. It's very inclusive, and you'll see it flags flying with the logo around each village. Each village has been given some flags and pins and all sorts of things. So our kickoff event was May 4th of this year, 2014. And that took place on the County Complex site over in Barnstable, and that was a rededication of our town seal, which this year the town seal celebrates its 125th anniversary on the seal of the town of Barnstable, and it was adopted on May 4th of 1889. So what we did was we included the town clerk, who's the keeper of our town seal, to partake in the ceremony, and we had school children, complete with a town crier announcing the festivity, and I think that was a wonderful event. A lot of families came out for that, and it was our kickoff event. We thought we'd pay respect to the town seal, which is, as you know, is placed on every important document within the town of Barnstable. So that was our premier kickoff event, something for everyone, and trying to keep the cost of any event that takes place with the celebration down to zero or very minimal. So that was a free event and a lot of fun.
And we should talk about the events coming up so people can certainly plan for those. And you have a couple of big ones coming up. Let's go right into those.
Well, let's see. Throughout the summer, we have chronicles, historical lectures in the villages of Cotuit and Barnstable and West Barnstable. There's a photographic exhibit, and I think Nancy should talk about that.
Well, there are two photographic exhibits that I've been involved with. One is in Barnstable, at Barnstable Historical Society, and it features photographs of Hyannis, since Hyannis is the one village that does not have its own historical society. Then we're also going to be celebrating the 125th anniversary of the old Selectmen's Building. It's a very, very busy year for us historians. And that will be a photo exhibit of West Barnstable and of the building, and also we'll be presenting our book, West Barnstable Remembered. And then all these photographs of both exhibits are going to be going to Town Hall to be seen from the end of August to the end of September.
And you have some big events in September. Let's talk about those.
We do. I'd like Lynn to talk about the twinning trip that was planned in celebration.
So from September 5th through the 14th, 32 of us it's actually from Cape Cod, because we had a meeting with 24 people a week or so ago, and people were telling us where they were from and what they were most looking forward to doing. So we have about 10 that are actually from Barnstable, but we have a number from Sandwich, from Falmouth, Harwich, and part of this trip is going to areas like that. We're going to be landing in London, and then we will be doing the southwest part of England, including going down to Land's End. We'll be staying in Bath, Plymouth, Barnstable, and the hotel that we'll be staying in Barnstable is on 3 miles of beach. There's a beautiful golf course next to it, so a number of the guys were raising their hand that they wanted a separate golf tour. But we're really excited. We're going to be meeting with some of the elected officials over in Barnstable. And
well, you'll have a lot of great stories when you come back from that.
And we'll be doing a photographic display in Town Hall following that trip as well.
And what about the big Founders Day picnic you mentioned earlier? Tell us about that.
Yeah, that takes place on Sunday, September 21st. That's a big day, September 21st. It kicks off with the Founders Day picnic, and that will be on the Hyannis Village Green, beginning at around 11:30 and going until about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And that will include the town band performing and special performances and activities for children, and just a fun event on the village green.
A free picnic for everyone's invited. Is that how it works?
Invited.
Everyone's invited, yeah. And I understand from our facilitator of fun, Mr. Crow, that he's expecting and planning for 5,000 people to be at that event.
That will be quite an event. And then is it modeled on, was there a Founders Day picnic 100 years ago or anything? Has there ever been one in the past that we know of?
I believe that there was one in 1989 because they had a Founders Weekend where they had a ball, a gala, and things of that nature, and then they also had a picnic. I don't know that it drew that many people, but they actually had the Mount Rushmore flag that they unfurled on the Hyannis Village Green, and that was hundreds of people were involved because the Mount Rushmore flag is quite large.
And some of us have seen the very impressive 375th light sculpture around. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
That is roaming around through all 7 villages. It was recently moved to the South Street side of Barnstable Town Hall, but for the May 4th event, it was on the Barnstable Superior Courthouse lawn because that event took place in Barnstable Village. Recently, it was at the Cotuit Historical Society. It was on the Centerville Library lawn for the Memorial Day Parade. So throughout, actually, the sculpture is booked through December 31st, and it's quite impressive in the daylight, but really impressive at night when it's all lit up.
And who made the sculpture?
It was made by Sandwich sculptor Michael Maguilar. And
I think Michael Magyar has done a lot of these sculptures along 6A as well. So he's someone who does light sculptures and is, of course, a glass artisan.
Yeah. Just getting back to the Sunday, September 21st, after the picnic, and that's geared towards families, but so is the event in the evening at the High School Performing Arts, Barnstable High School Performing Arts Center, and that's when the Cape Cod Symphony Orchestra is going to be doing a 375 concert, and we have a special composer, Brett Abaganya, and he has come and toured the villages of Barnstable with Nancy and Lynn. They gave him a VIP tour of all the villages so he'd get a feel of what he should be composing for, and that event takes place at 8:00, and tickets will be going on sale through the symphony, and that, I think the cost of the tickets is going to be $25, so that is affordable for families as well.
Certainly, and if people want to know more about you had mentioned there's the lecture series, there's the book, there's the concert, there's the Founders Day. Do you have a website that people can go to find all the dates and prices?
We do, barnstable375.com.
And throughout the summer, obviously, the lecture series is going on. And should people look for other events from your committee during the summer? Yeah,
and there is a complete listing on the website, and it gets updated fairly frequently. Sarah Colvin Nelson has been doing that. We are still looking for volunteers, and there is an announcement for that on the website, volunteers for our picnic, because there's going to be a lot of people involved in that. So if you are interested in volunteering, you could go on the website and send an email or contact me at Town Hall through the Town Council office. Each village, too, is got special programs planned, so I would go on their websites, the historical societies and libraries, to see when all the events are taking place.
And if people want to pick up the book, where do they find that?
Currently, the book is at the town clerk's office at Barnstable Town Hall, but we also have it at the Barnstable Historical Society, Sturgis Library, the Marston's Mills Historical Society, the Cotuit Historical Society, and eventually it will be at all 7 libraries, and anyone that wants to sell it will be happy to share that with them.
So much happening this year. I'm sorry, Jessica.
No, and the book's for a 64-page full-color book that really is a keepsake. It's $10 plus tax, so I think that's just such a reasonable
anyone
purchase.
Interested in the town's history would certainly want to get a copy of this book. Lynn, did you have one more?
I just want to say a couple of things that we have some merchants that have really gotten on the bandwagon. Diamond Perfections has created a special 375th bracelet for us where a portion of the proceeds goes to the 375th committee, because we will be looking to do a legacy project as part of our committee's charge. And for those of you that are taste enthusiasts, both Four C's and Katie's Ice Cream have come up with special Barnstable flavors, so you can test those out as well.
Well, I'll be certain to try those out as an ice cream aficionado myself. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We've been talking about Barnstable's 375th anniversary this year. I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.